Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more Brothers War action, and today I have a super fun deck to play. I like to call it Ratadrabik Copy. That works. That's a hard card to say, but this is a really fun deck because what you do is you play Ratadrabik of Urborg for 4 mana, and it's a 3/3 zombie wizard, legendary zombie wizard with vigilance and ward 2, and it says other zombies you control have vigilance, and then whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other color and types. So this means we can actually kind of copy Ratadrabik, and then we get a non-legendary copy of Ratadrabik, and then if we can continue to copy legendaries or play multiple legendaries, we start getting a bunch of these legendary tokens, which can kind of get out of hand with some particular creatures. In order to make this a lot easier, we're comboing this with Jaxis the Troublemaker, which very nicely we can blitz out for 2 mana, meaning that it comes out with haste, and then we can pay 1 mana to discard a card from our hand and create a token copy that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste, and when this creature dies, draw a card. And then you can sacrifice it it will be sacrificed at the next end step. Well, we get Ratadrabik out there, and then we haste this out there. We pay another mana, so 3 mana total after we get Ratadrabik out, and we create a copy of Ratadrabik, and then they legend rule each other. You pick the one that's not the token, that one dies, and you get a non-legendary copy of Ratadrabik, and then you can repeat this process. But also the nice thing is when Jaxis dies to blitz at the end of your turn, not only do you draw a card to blitz, same thing with when your token copy that you create dies, you draw a card. You get 2 copies of Jaxis thanks to your 2 Ratadrabiks. And then this keeps going even more with more and more legendary creatures. We have Giada, Fawn of Hope, which works really well because when you create copies, there's more angels and they get more +1s. Elas, il-Kor, another creature entering the battlefield, gaining life. Creatures dying, lose the opponent life. Basically a good way to burn our opponent out. And then we just have Loran for some removal, a bunch of other stuff. Let's get into some games. I'll have a full deck tech at the end of the video. I played 1 game with this already, and it was too crazy. I felt like I just had to make a video on it. This is similar to a deck that I've played before, not on the channel, but like a deck that I've made before, but it involved Giada and trying to copy and get multiple copies of Giada because it's kind of funny. But this one's tuned to more focus on Ratadrabik. We have no one left behind to help reanimate things that die. Get more value out of our graveyard, since we're going to be discarding with Jaxis, Fable the Mirrorbreaker, and another card I can't remember off the top of my head. I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We have enough mana to cast Ratadrabik. It's really bad if the opponent's at all fast, but hey. Cast the Haunted Bridge, not like we're going to be doing anything our first turn. Yeah, we didn't draw into any of our 2-drops, which is kind of funny because we have 4 Giadas, 4 Elas il-Kors, like we have quite a lot of. There you go, big score. That will also be one of our discard outlets. Doesn't look like it matters what we play here because our opponent is not doing much. That's the nice thing is you can just play Ratadrabik and then play another Ratadrabik, and then you get a token copy, and then potentially if we get more mana we can reanimate it. Well, actually we will have enough mana with Ratadrabik out here because Relic of Legends, great for this deck because we have a ton of legendary creatures. It's a mana rock that taps for mana of any color for 3 mana, and then we can tap an untapped legendary creature to generate mana of any color, and that doesn't require us to tap the Relic of Legends. The Relic of Legends does need to be untapped. So basically, all of our legendary creatures become mana rocks, which can help us kind of combo off faster. This is a very weird draw that we've managed to pick up here. Opponent playing Sluzzy Enchantments, pretty crazy deck out there. Not as strong as when runes were in standard, but definitely a deck to be feared of. Yep, Michiko, Reign of Truth, gonna get absolutely beat down these next 2 turns. It's fine. It happens. If we draw a Jaxis here, we're in a pretty good situation, honestly. I don't even know if you really need big score in this deck. You could probably actually just completely sub it out. Play Ratadrabik here. Opponent looking at it. Got Ward 2, which is huge, because, well, makes it a lot easier to kind of combo with because it sticks around just a bit more than your average card. Our opponent probably looking at a Vanishing Light type effect. They're going to try and exile it with like an enchantment. Borrowed Time is a good example in Standard. I suspect that that's the type of card they have. Perhaps they're waiting to play it second main so that they get in the free swing. Nope, they're not going to play anything, which is a little bit confusing. Alright, we're going to actually go into full control here because I actually have a kind of cool trick to do here. Yes, play this. Yes, I am very happy to do this. Resolve it. Oh, you can't. I would have thought I could tap this with the Relic of Legends. I went into full control to do that. Well, let's keep the one that's submit to. Oh, wait, you can select more than one. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Well, that is unfortunate because I would have really liked to do some fun stuff with that, but we'll go ahead and create white and then cast this. A1, yeah, generate some mana with one of our legendary creatures. It doesn't really matter what color we choose. Resolve. Now, if our opponent kills this Giada, which we're actually very fine to block with this Giada because we'll create 2 copies of it, both coming in with some +1/+1s, and then we can no one left behind it several times. Because I picked this reanimation card in particular because it says it costs 3 less to target a creature with mana value 3 or less. So we have 4 Giadas, 4 il-Kors, so we can cast this for 2 very often. Our opponent, just we didn't want to see. They did have the borrowed time, but they saved it for now. Alright, well, let's go ahead and see if we can find something here. That will do us. Go ahead and play it. I guess what we can do here, which is not ideal, yes, tap this for black, tap this for white, and then tap white from this, because we're going to legend rule, and then we can sacrifice that one and keep this one. Boom, we have 4 Ratadrabiks. Now if any of our legendary creatures die, and we can reanimate actually another Ratadrabik with our no one left behind and create another 4 copies of Ratadrabik. Or 3 copies of Ratadrabik. I think 3 or 4. I can't. I'm bad with counting. Alright. Opponent thinking about Jukai Naturalist, not quite feeling it. I mean, okay, that's... Oh, that's beauty. That's so beauty. Alright, well, we don't have much to do here, but we will go ahead and pick up a Ratadrabik, I think. And then go ahead and swing in. Boom. Opponent here. Still full grip of cards, unfortunately. Temporary lockdown. There goes... Wow. Oh, because they're a token copy of an expensive card, they keep their mana value. And so we're not actually completely blown out by that. That's crazy. Our opponent had some strange cards in their deck. They're probably just putting together of what they can of Slowsy enchantments, but hey, they're token copies. If it's a token copy of like a clone kind of card, so think of a good example of Scoot Swarm. They keep the same mana value. And so in that case, we didn't actually get blown out, but it did take away our treasure. Because this says exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less until temporary lockdown leaves the battlefield. We didn't really get the combo off like we imagined, But we did get to get ourselves a bunch of Ratadrabiks, which was kind of funny. Let's go ahead and try another game. The rank ladder reset, I get, yeah, today, I guess, because it's February 1st. So, climbing in silver. I didn't realize that, it was gonna reset, and I played some ranked, when I started, basically when I made the, what video did I make first? Oh, I did, yeah, the the Golem cluster combo with a precursor Golem, which is kind of similar to this deck in a way. In a funny way, it's kind of similar to this. That might be like a little bit stretching, but in a funny way, it is somewhat similar. Mardu Angels, it now looks like we're playing, but we're not actually. Oh, and here got the double Gallic Readers. The question is, do we want to play Loran of the Third Path and just gif their treasure token? That would be so, like, rude, but it would be kind of funny. We'll go ahead and tack in first. We got two Fables. Perhaps we just get Fable going. Nice thing is Fable, we can create, copies of the tokens, but also just, you know, it's Fable. It's pretty good. Because it's kind of funny, I'm just gonna do it. How? I don't know if our opponent's gonna be playing that many enchantments, and getting a treasure seems kind of a decent plan. Treasure, treasure, yep. Gallic Readers. One of my favorite cards to be playing. We could tap down with Relic of Legends and Fable and Mirrorbreaker. Oh, what I can do though first is go in and attack. Could also draw a card with Loran of the Third Path. A little bit troll. Oh, fuck. Whoops. Okay, well that's a little awkward. Like no one left behind and return the Giada, but at this point I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. And weep a little. This has been a bad game, especially since I tossed the Giada straight into Titania. I forgot Reach was a thing. No blocks. Opponent does have Argoth and Titania. So they could meld this. If they just need to get 4 cards in the graveyard. That's... that will help. We need to find our combo. I think our combo is about the only thing that can save us right about now. That's a combo piece. Discard the land and no one left behind. Yeah, maybe the Fable. Do I discard the Fable? There's no man left. Or no one left behind. You're kidding me. Opponent. Infernal Grasping our token. It's kind of BM, but alright. I don't really want to blitz it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. Tap down our Loran. Loran's not good for much. Could draw us cards with her silly tap ability. You and target opponent each draw a card. Perhaps we'll do that at the beginning of the next turn. There you go. More lands in the graveyard. Titania. Feeling a little meldy. No Gallagrators? I guess that makes sense then. Go ahead, trade off the token. Or not trade, chump with the token. My goodness. Shucks. Okay, well, we'll do this. And then do this. Hindsight is very 2020. Because I realized we don't have Ratadrabik, and so we're gonna insta-legend rule. Doesn't matter. Ah. Alright, next turn is where we get spicy. We just need to survive this turn. I think we just no blocked, right? Or this is only 12 damage. It's only 12 damage. That melds Titania. Does the melding of Titania trigger Gallagher's is my question. Our opponent's probably just gonna kill us next turn, but we can dream. No way we drew another Ratadrabik. Well, in that case, what is the right play here? Because we can copy with Jaxis the Ratadrabik, but we have to discard this Ratadrabik if we do that. What we can do instead is draw a card to then make a copy to discard to the Ratadrabik or the Jaxis. Yeah. And then we play that, we can do this, yes. And then pay. White. Commit. I'll play this one. Boom. This is awkward. I didn't think this through fully. No, did I? Jaxis? Oh, it's non-legendary. That's awkward. No attacks. End turn. Okay, there's probably a better way about going that, but hey, we did our thing. We just, ah man, we lost that Giada early, and then our opponent is playing a decent deck. Hmm. 10-10 hasty trampler with vigilance seems like it might be a bit of a problem. Don't think it matters how we block, but we can pretend like it does. We don't die. Yeah, we got 2 copies. Unfortunate. And I want to get a game where we get Jaxis and Ratadrabik out. Because that's... I mean, I guess we got it sort of that game, but it was too late. Too late. It's almost like this deck would like a little bit more like ramping somehow. But not even like, I don't even know if that would work. You could probably put like the Restoration of Aganjo. Is that like the enchantment that you'd search up a plains and then discard a card and then put it back? Because you'd use that to return your small creatures as well. Shattered Sanctum. The caves. I guess we'll Fable. Opponent playing Azorius Soldiers or Azorius Control. One of the two. Be my bet. I kind of need more lands. And big score. Well, big scores do draw me cards. Boom, boom. Counter? No. Our opponent has no instance. Okay. Hmm. That's kind of strange. Nothing. They want to... Oh. Counterspell finally. Still no counterspell. Interesting. Wandering Emperor? Yup. They could create a 2-2 instead of exiling. That's a little silly.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Thinking for this Fable we might discard these Infernal Grasp. See if we can draw into some action.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
I prefer if you did not. Kind of scary. Probably one of the cooler cards. One of the cooler commons, that is. Discard these and see if we draw into something. Giada is nice. Alright, so what we'll do here is we'll play Ratadrabik. Yes. I guess I could have played a last il-Kor before this, because we would have gotten +1, -1 on them. Doesn't really make too huge of a difference, I don't think, in my humble opinion. Go ahead, play this. And then I think I'm gonna hold up Reflections just in case Ratadrabik is ever gonna die. I can just make a copy of if I attack in here though I get Giada. So I'm gonna do that, I think. I just hope they don't kill the Ratadrabik. Then the drain continues, or starts. Giada. If they kill Giada, we get 2 copies of it, which is nice. Nice and weak stone. Targeting reflection. Probably. I think. Or maybe they realize there's a bunch of legendaries, so Reflection can really only copy one thing here. If they kill Giada, we get 2 copies of it. If they kill il-Kor, we get 2 copies of it. So those are pretty much the best option there. If we draw into something crap, we can discard it with Dig Schooler
Keep
and
watch where
potentially
you
play
tread.
what we get. Yeah, that is not ideal. Go ahead, do this. Discard. I guess we could have taken him and got back a Ratadrabik. This should draw us 2. Aha! That's good. Now the pain real starts. Yes, yes, yes. This is the one of the fun combos. Tons of triggers. Gain life. Oh, another one. Gain 2 life. Alright. And then swing in, kill this. I could swing in with the il-Kor, but I kind of would like to keep it if I get
See you later.
an, a Jaxis. But it might be best to just... Oh, this is fun because we actually get some tokens. And they take a bunch of damage. 24 triggers off of board wipe. It's crazy. Do they just die? Oh my god. What were the remaining triggers? That's too good. That is too good. Yes, I had a ton of fun. Get out of here, Declan Wright. We still had 4 drain triggers. We would have gotten... What were these copied? I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like some of these are il-Kor copy or returning il-Kors, and some of these are because we had il-Kor and Giada, so we should get like 2 copies of these, and then 1 copy of Ratadrabik because we had a non-legendary Ratadrabik. So yeah, that's what those 5 triggers were. So we would have gotten 5 creatures, like probably like a 2/2 and a 3/3 flyer as well with vigilance. I love Ratadrabik. If you can start getting copies of him, it just goes crazy. Still haven't quite gotten the Jaxis Ratadrabik going, which is kind of sad. Gotta keep this. I actually don't have the white land to cast the. I think we just lose. Well, we can play the Elasto. Gosh, I played the mountain without even thinking. Should have played the. I should have held that off to their turn, but because if they play something bigger, it's fine. Shattered Sanctum for the il-Kor. Opponent will probably just kill it on spot, but hey, drains them 1. Requires them to use a burn spell that would have gone to face, and then we can no one left behind it pretty easily. Ratadrabik should be able to block this Bloodthirsty adversary, and then they don't have 4 lands yet, so I don't think they can burn at Ratadrabik. Are we gonna make it? Though I might honestly do this into like a discarding a Fable, because then we get like a copy of Ratadrabik as well as several Jaxes. 4th land? Ah, shit. Do they have another Lightning Strike? No. No. That's That's not good. Okay, what is the right play here? Well, we can play Jaxis. I'll play Jaxis, and then I can no one left behind the last il-Kor if necessary. Nah, that's just game. That's just game. Opponent had the land and the lightning strike. Kind of unlucky. Fair enough though. Mono red, doobie, mono red. Are there any good life gain spells in standard right now? I don't think so. So like I know that like was it just old standard that you could play like the A set? Or was it just that Revitalize was in a in like a standard set? But Revitalize was kind of nice. Gain 3 life, draw a card, 2 mana. I mean, probably not the best card, but hey, it did work. Got some cards. A ramp. Play the Sundown Pass. Say hello to our opponent. They're playing with a Rafine. Okay. Don't really like the good game on the first land. Seems kind of silly, no? Are we oh, okay, we're artifact deck. Interesting. Phew. Well, because they have no actual threats, I'll go just cast this. Okay. Doesn't really matter. Boom. We can haste out Jaxis, create a copy of Ratadrabik to get things going. That'd be the ideal path here. Boom. Yep. Please. Didn't expect that. Resolve. I think we keep up the Loran of the third path. I'm not gonna lie. We can go ahead next combat. I'll attack. And I guess we can do this on their turn. Opponent trying to ramp into Seascape Leveler. That is very sad that our opponent interrupted our exile or last il-Kor. I mean, we could Infernal Grasp it just to be mean. This is stupid, but we show them who's boss. Opponent goes to draw a card. That's a strange move. Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead, keep the Loran of the third path here, I think. This one, boom. Bunch of creatures. I mean, I could blow up the Reckoner Bank Buster. Now, is that worth? Well, let's go ahead and attack in. This one swing at that. This one swing face. Makes a lot of sense. Or we could stop their ramp because they're 2 lands away. No, they were good. We'll just cast and blow up the. Boom. Jaxis dies. They lose 2 life. We draw a card off of the Blitz. We get 2 Jaxises, which gain us 2 life. And then we can really combo off with our multiple Jaxis. I would not like to discard a Ratadrabik, so if I can draw something worth discarding. Urza. That discounts things. Does he have the Mightstone Weakstone? He can play the Mightstone Weakstone, but he doesn't get to merge. He probably wants to be able to merge, or meld, rather, this turn. Going in here. Doing something, cooking up something. A little something. You know what would be nice? Come on. Come on, man. We're so close to comboing. Alright, well, I will call it there. I think you get the idea of the deck. Sometimes, you know, the deck can do as cool things as you want, but the opponent can also do a pretty cool thing, which is surrender. So, uh, go over the deck, and I'll do a little deck tech here in terms of what cards are in it. We got Giada, which is the legendary angel. Vigilance, flying. Each angel you control enters the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counter for each angel you already control. Add a mana, spend this only to cast angel spells. We don't really have any other angel spells besides Giada, so I guess we can use this to cast a Giada if we have one on the board. That is some upside, I guess, but mainly we're playing it for that. It's a 2/2 legendary creature, or it's a 2 mana 2/2 flying vigilance legendary creature that gets additional buffs when we copy it, which is the copies enter with more and more +1/+1 counters. I played a game right before I recorded this video where I ended up creating like 4 copies of it, and the last one entered in as an 18/18 with flying and vigilance. So pretty good card in this deck. Elas, il-Kor, we saw it put in absolute work here, draining our opponent out when they went for a board wipe. Didn't even see it coming ourselves. The opponent certainly did not expect it, because they probably would have not cast a board wipe. But crazy card to have in this deck. One of my favorite cards to copy, because copying it, you create the legendary copy. Well, it legend rules, it dies, it drains the opponent, and then it enters in like these token copies from Ratadrabik, which gains his life. So we get really the full range of value out of this card, which is super cool. And then we have Infernal Grasp as our kind of removal in this deck. It was funny when we got to actually Infernal Grasp our own Elas, il-Kor when the opponent tried to Wandering Emperor it. So I guess this card's useful. And then we have Loran of the Third Path. Just a nice kind of extra removal on a legendary creature. So I thought it was just a kind of neat card to include. It has Vigilance in 2/1, and then we actually got to use its ability sum, which is like you and a target opponent each draw a card. So that potentially could be important when you're playing with Jaxis, which you need a card. So I guess it has extra synergies beyond just being artifact removal on a legendary creature. Fable of Mirror, I don't know if I have to really say much about this. Basically one of the goated cards in Standard. Just ramps you with like a token sort of, gives you card filtering, and then you end up with this 2/2 that can just block, or you can actually get tons of value out of it if you start copying good things. In this deck, the copying with the reflections is a little bit less relevant because a lot of these things are legendary. And it says another target non-legendary creature you control, so we have to start creating our non-legendary token copies with Ratadrabik to really get used to this. And that's one of the reasons why Jaxis is so important, is because it says create a token copy of another target creature you control, and it does not anywhere say non-legendary. So that's what allows us to really go crazy with this deck. Relic of Legends puts in tons of work here, giving us tons of mana when we need it with our legendaries. So this can allow us to do things that maybe we wouldn't normally be able to do. It is kind of annoying that it taps it on our legends because then we're losing blockers, and we kind of would like to have some blockers up occasionally. But pretty good Jaxis. Um, I feel like it already shown enough of this card, but you know, like the whole pay 1 red, discard a card, create a token copy. The fact that it's able to blitz itself in is huge because when it dies, it creates token copies, or like it has a built-in sack trigger that can help us create tokens with Ratadrabik, which means that we start off with 2 the next turn, so it can really start popping off. But also, it's just uh, you get like the draw card off the blitz, you get the draw card off of like basically creating like a blitzed token copy because it says when this creature dies, you draw a card. And then Ratadrabik, I feel like I already said enough about this, the centerpiece of the deck. And then No One Left Behind, we saw it put in a little bit of work here. Maybe you could like trim it out a little. But I think it's nice for the extra flexibility because you really want to get as many copies of like each particular card as you can. Well, particularly Ratadrabik, Giada, and Elas, those are the cards that you really want to duplicate up as much as possible. And then lastly, in terms of the lands, we have one on Ganja, which I actually got to use in one of the games I was playing. I don't think it was in the recording. We have Takanuma, because it's also just helps us reoccur our creatures, which is huge when you're trying to get a lot of plays of the same creature, particularly Ratadrabik, il-Kor, Giada, right? And then in terms of the other lands, we just have all of the ones that potentially can enter in untapped here if there's 2 or more lands, and then we have 2 Caves of Koilos. I only have 3 copies of all of these, which is kind of funny. But and then just like the auto-suggested amount of plains, swamps, and mountains uh, to help us cast all our different spells. Despite it being a 3-color deck, I don't think we really ran into super huge issues. There was only like a few times on like turn 2 where we weren't able to cast Lasso Core, but I think it ultimately worked out. Yeah, let me know if you would have done something different with this deck. I'm super excited for this deck. In uh, First, All will be one because there's 2 cards that actually combo incredibly well with this deck, and I'm talking about Mondrak and uh, Drivnar. Is that the legendary? Is that the that I'm thinking of? Let me read what the cards do here real quick. They're the mythics for red and or for black and white, the ones that double up things. The white one doubles up the number of tokens that you generate, which is huge because this says create a token copy. So you create 2 token copies, so you double legend rule, and then you get 2 token copies for each one that dies with Ratadrabik. So you basically, if you get Jaxis, Ratadrabik, and Mondrak out, a single like cast or use of Jax's abilities will create 4 Ratadrabiks, and then the next time you do it, it's gonna create like uh, I I don't know, like 60, probably not that many, but you can see how doubling up tokens can really make this pretty explosive. And then yeah, Drivnod is a uh, the legendary mythic uh, in black that says if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So this works decently well with this deck because well, Ratadrabik is death trigger, so you double up on Ratadrabik's triggers, and then you also kind of double up on when this creature dies, draw a card thing here. So um, you can draw more cards and you can create more tokens. Not quite as insane as Mondrak, and it also costs 1 more mana because Mondrak's a 4-drop. I don't think you could really cram all of those cards into one deck and feasibly get them all out. But I think if you just have Ratadrabik and Drivnod or Mondrak out, uh, things will be like better overall. Like you can swap out like these big scores for like Mondrax, and then you can swap out like Lorna the third or these No One Left Behind and these big scores for Drivnod and Mondrak. And this deck will probably play mostly the same and just be crazy. Uh, because all you need is Drivnod and Ratadrabik, or Mondrak and Ratadrabik to really kind of go off. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm definitely going to be making some as Phyrexia All Will Be One comes out. Uh, Make sure to leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Hope you have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, whenever or wherever you're watching. Ciao.